everybody else getting their G.I. Joe shipping notifications and deliveries for Heroscape, these are the premium wound markers. Now, don't be jealous. You can get these too. I'm sure all those new figures, new terrain, and cool new stuff is okay compared to these poker chips with stickers on them. And here's a look at the packaging, which, strange to me, has the Avalon Hill markings on it because these were not part of the Age of Annihilation offerings. They were going to use like these little rectangles instead. Let's take a look at the back of the packaging. Track wounds in style. This set includes 12 premium oversized wound markers, perfect for keeping tabs on multi-life figures during intense Heroscape battles. However, they will affect line of sight and stuff like that if you use them. But anyway, we have 9 premium 1 wound markers and 3 premium 2 wound markers. Expand your arsenal and battle for Valhalla with the Heroscape premium wound markers. Choose your scenario, build your battlefield, select your army, and fight to win. Yep, that's not much else to it. Let's crickety crack it open. Originally scheduled to be part of the February 2026 releases that have no story arc attached to them, it was the Caverns of Valhalla terrain expansion, the premium wound markers, and the Decker the Burrow Breaker paint kit. This is the premium wound markers that were delayed till March, so now they came by themselves. This is it. Alright, and just like the dice tray, which we'll get a size comparison in here, don't you worry, the packaging pretty much needs to be completely destroyed to get these out. Here are the wound markers next to the official dice tray and the plastic acrylic World Championship 2025 dice. A little bit bigger than a poker chip, but feels the same. Can you tell I'm trying to extend a video about basically glorified poker chips? Oh no, not bigger than a poker chip, thinner than a poker chip. Same size. But then, are all poker chips created equally? One of the main concerns about these premium wound markers using to be tracked on multi-life figures on the battlefield is line of sight. On the other side of this wall is a Knight Primus Adelburn. He's one of the highest health single base figures, and we have Charos, a double base figure. We're going to say that Samuel Brown and Wing Commander Tuck Harrigan are trying to shoot at him, and that Hulk goes around the corner and inflicts 7 wounds on him. Now, even with the walls uncapped, as you see in most maps when they are built, because that would prevent ranged flyers from having an advantage over melee, with 7 premium wound markers underneath him, he still does not peek over the wall. This is a high wall example. There are the small ruins and stuff, which we'll also take a look at, but even with 7 wound markers, Knight Primus Adelburn does not peek over the wall. Now, these are also not really going to be used to track one figure army card. The primary intended use of these would be multi-figure, multi-health army cards, such as the Frostclaw Paladins, but they only have 2 hit points, so at most you'd be just doing 1 underneath them, which does change what you can see in terms of line of sight and determining all that, or even clear sight and stuff. But it's very negligible, and if these guys survive, I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it to get too broken up about it, because these will probably not be used in actual competitions and things like that. Anyway, these are just another way to track your wounds. I would say they're more for just casual at home, or keeping track of wounds in a different option, because you don't even have to use these just on the battlefield. You can use them on the army card if you don't want to use the little wound markers. They're just an accessory. So, that being said, 2 life squads are relatively new to Heroscape. Who knows if that could change or go up or have more in the future, because Renegade seems to be breaking a few molds, like the dual class figures and stuff like that. So anything is possibly open. So if there's ever squads that have that many tokens underneath them, I could see more problems arising from this. But even Adelburn with 7 tokens, now it does peek him over that wall quite a bit more, but take the tokens away and you can still see the top of his head, so he's still targetable. So yeah, that'll burn's big enough. Now, let's take a look at what it does with peanut-based figures with multi-life. This is, it would, you know, it's going to change that. And if you're one of those people that just for some reason wants to put them like that, then you're doing that, and the peanut figure is going to go everywhere. Obviously, the best way to do it would be keep it even. Well, second best way. The best way to do it would be keeping track of the damage on the army card, so there's not these wound markers, because you use them, and sure, on a stationary figure it doesn't change too much, but if they're moving around, you got to keep the premium wound markers with them, which again is just another little bit of time in the game. It doesn't necessarily ruin the game or completely undo it. Some people won't be fans of these things, some people will. As I said, they're just an accessory. I got them because it's a little piece of Heroscape history. And that was a little bit too long of a look at the premium wound markers for Heroscape. Now, just call me peanut butter, because you guys with your Dukes, Serpenters, Toxic Lands, and such are probably just so jelly.